Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Chili. I know it's been a while since I've made a video. You know, life got busy, moved into a new place, but you know what? We're back, we're here. The videos will be coming more regularly now, so let's get into it. Before we get into it, special shout out to the homie Rob from Shonen Showdown, hooking me up with the NBA logo white beard tee. Look how tough this thing is. Anyway, be sure to throw him a follow for everything Shonen. That man is an absolute expert when it comes to it. In this video, I'll be talking about the highly anticipated Studio Wit film that just dropped on Netflix recently, Bubble. Studio Wit was already well known mainly for their work on Attack on Titan, as well as Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, but the stakes were raised even higher after they gave us Vivi and Ranking of Kings. And the stakes and expectations were raised even higher once again once all of the names of the staff that were working on this project were released, such as producer Tetsuya Nakatake, known for his work on Attack on Titan, Owari no Seraph, Guilty Crown, Kimi ni Todoke, and the currently airing Spy Family. Director Tetsuro Araki, known for his work on Attack on Titan, High School of the Dead, Guilty Crown, and most notably Death Note. Scriptwriter Gen Urobuchi, known for his work on Psycho Pass, Fate Zero, and Madoka Magica. Lead character designer Takeshi Obata, known for his work on Death Note, Bakuman, as well as Platinum End, as well as Hiroyuki Sawano, behind the music of Attack on Titan, Seven Deadly Sins, Blue Exorcist, Kill la Kill, Guilty Crown, and most recently, 86. Boasting such a stellar lineup brings with it a huge amount of expectations. So let's see if they lived up to my expectations in this 10-minute or less review of Bubble. I will try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but if I do in fact say anything, I will let you know beforehand. Going into Bubble, I was expecting some dope animation, really good music, and lots of really cool parkour scenes.
Parkour!
I literally could not give you a single expectation I had for the story, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's talk about the animation. The animation was 1,000,000% the best part and my favorite part of this movie. Studio Wit absolutely knocked it out of the park with this. Studio Wit is definitely most known for the way they capture intricate movements and motion, as can be seen in Attack on Titan and Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. The parkour scenes were absolutely incredible. It brought me back to the old MTV days when they were airing that World Parkour Championship or whatever. One other thing that Studio Wit does that I absolutely love are those hyper-detailed close-up shots of characters. It can be off-putting to some people as the animation style really changes up, but if you're familiar with some of their other works, such as Vivi Fluoride Eye Song, then you're used to this by now. Not only that, but the backgrounds and the other interactive elements were superb. I could probably gloat forever about the animation of this movie, but we'll move on to the next part. My second favorite part of the entire movie was the music. It's Hiroyuki Sawano. What do you expect? Sawano can truly do no wrong, and he did not disappoint in this film. The music made the tense moments feel more tense. It made the softer moments feel more soft. Absolutely on point, 110%. And we can't forget the banger of an opening that Eve produced for this movie. Now we have to get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty and talk about what I didn't love so much, first being the characters. Minus Hibiki, Uta, and Mami Makoto, yes, Mami Makoto, I couldn't tell you any of the other characters' names. Not that it's a terrible thing, because sure, you want the spotlight to be on the main characters, but the side characters didn't really add any substance to the story for me. First, let's get into Hibiki's character. Hibiki is a boy who at a young age suffered from audio hypersensitivity. Because of this, he constantly walks around with headphones on to drown out the sound of the outside world. I did enjoy the couple flashback scenes we got of Hibiki, with him and his mother and them trying to figure out how to help him with this disorder, but I feel like we didn't get enough of that. He was the main character of the story, but I didn't feel a really strong connection to him. I think if a little bit more time had been spent on his past and him kind of going through the trials and tribulations of this disorder and trying to work through it might have been beneficial. Overall, I didn't think Hibiki was a bad main character, but he was just kind of bland. That boy has some parkour skills though, let me tell you. Hibiki's parkour skills are unmatched, and he's the only one that can use the bubbles to propel himself forward in these races. I did enjoy that element a little bit, and I'll talk about more when we get to the story. Next up, let's talk about Uta. Uta is a life form that we don't really know what she is or where she came from or how she even came to be. She goes from being a bubble to a more human form after she first comes in contact with Hibiki. I did enjoy Uta as a character, as we see her go from the very beginning of being almost like a feral creature to learning the language and developing communication and being able to act like a normal human being. She was a fun, bubbly character, and we learn early on there's a reason she can't come into contact with Hibiki or other people. Last but not least, we have Makoto, the only other character of significance besides the main two. Mommy Makoto, and yes, she's mommy for two reasons, serves as the mother figure for Blaze Blue, the parkour group that Hibiki is a part of. She's a scientist/researcher who's been stationed inside the bubble to study and learn about where these bubbles came from. She also was very much the fan service character of the movie, which I didn't mind, but I could see that being off-putting to some viewers. Although the characters overall were a little weak for me, with most of the side characters either being non-existent or not important at all, I don't think the main three were a particularly bad trio. Now let's briefly get into what I think most people would consider the weakest part of this movie, the story. Even after reading the synopsis, it's hard to tell what this movie is really about. Warning, there may be some slight spoilers here, but I'll try not to give away too much. Anyway, getting into it, the first half of the movie is basically a parkour battle. Following the catastrophe when the bubble first appeared, many young people were left as orphans and left alone in the world, so they ventured into the bubble and found families out there, which turned out to be these battle parkour groups, and see it as a land of freedom where they can have true independence. These groups of young people form parkour teams where they battle against each other to win supplies. I do really like that they included the element of found families in the movie, as that is an aspect of the parkour community. The first half of the movie is essentially parkour battles, and it seemed like that's where the entirety of the movie was going to go. In the middle third of the movie, a conflict arises when Makoto is kidnapped by a rival parkour group. This is when it really seemed like things were about to kick off and we were about to get into some crazy action, but it was pretty lackluster. This was used more as an opportunity to show what happens when Hibiki and Uta would come into contact with each other. As we learn, when the two of them come into contact, Uta reverts back to her original bubble form. I really would have liked this to become more of a conflict and more of an issue that they had to deal with moving forward, but the rival group ends up helping them out in the end. After the first half of the movie, the parkour battles kind of fade into the background. Even though the parkour is still there as we see the characters fighting through different things, those battles just kind of go in the background, and it seems like they were used as an exciting part to keep people engaged in the movie. We are also shown and explained to over and over and over and over again that this story loosely follows The Little Mermaid. And no, not the Disney-fied Little Mermaid where everyone has a happy ending, it's the tragedy The Little Mermaid. I'm not against the trend of more recently anime movies loosely following fairy tales, such as Belle loosely being based on Beauty and the Beast, but when it keeps getting explained to you over and over and touched on over and over again, it kind of gets redundant. Anyway, the Little Mermaid theme is persistent throughout the course of the story, and they will not let you forget that. The second half of the movie is where the Little Mermaid element really comes into play. Hibiki and Uta develop feelings for one another after spending most of their time with each other throughout the movie. As they become closer, the main bubble starts to react negatively to their newfound relationship. Similar to the tragedy of the Little Mermaid, we see that Uta is being called back home to the main bubble. I'm guessing you can figure out where the story goes from here. The last big thing I will say about this movie though, I think it would have been much better suited to be an actual series where there could have been 12 to 24 episodes and the story could have been spaced out, everything could have been properly explained and whatnot. If you've made it this far, you're probably thinking, well, what were the good things about this movie? He spoke so negatively about it. And I promise you, I really do not have that many negative feelings about this movie. If you're someone that values story and plot over anything else, then you might not enjoy this movie as much, but it is 100% a super fun watch. If you want high-paced action with some supernatural elements and some amazing music, then you should definitely check this movie out. I think moving forward, anime fans and myself included need to limit our expectations just because we see certain names working on a certain project. Even with my expectations being so high, the things that this movie did well were really, really freaking well done. And the things that it didn't do well, it wasn't the worst, but it definitely wasn't the best. At the end of the day, I had a fantastic time watching this movie, and I would give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your comments below if you watched this movie, what you thought, what you liked, what you didn't like. I would love to hear from you guys. I'll be trying to put out a video every 2 weeks or so moving forward, so drop a comment and let me know what anime you want me to review in 10 minutes or less. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that share, like, subscribe button below. And until then, see you next time. Peace.